At first glance, PwC's new designer headquarters in Sydney's Barangaroo looks like something straight out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And that's the point. The four-level client collaboration office by Futurespace has been designed to combine the best features of hospitality, retail, tech and airline club lounge spaces in a way that brings people together to solve problems and create new ideas. Well, to take us through the cutting-edge design is the Managing Director of Futurespace, Angela Ferguson. Angela, thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, if you could explain the brief that you got from PwC for the headquarters.
Well, the reason for this project was that we live in a world where there's constant change and constant disruption. And so PwC could see this. They could see that businesses like Airbnb and Uber and Amazon were really rethinking traditional ways of doing business. So the whole purpose of this project for PwC was for them to get ahead of some of this disruption and change and to really rethink the way that they engage with clients so that they could continue to remain innovative. So what they've done is they no longer have a boardroom, and instead what they have are these 4 floors that allow them to engage with clients and collaborate with clients in a completely different way that's never been seen before.
Is this how business will be done in the future, Angela, or probably more accurately put, will this manipulate how business works in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think so, because if you think of the way that the workplace has changed in Australia in the last 20 years, it's really been revolutionary. But if you think of the way our boardrooms still look, they haven't really changed much until now. So PwC have done away with the boardroom, and they're looking at how they can use a whole different range of spaces, different technologies, different types of open and closed environments to come up with new ideas and to innovate and to work quite differently than they have in the past.
Just give us a sense of some of the design features, the architecture, what's gone into this, because it just looks amazing.
Yeah. It's, look, we're pretty proud of it. It's a pretty beautiful project. It really does take the best of those hotel experiences. The materials and finishes actually are quite important part of the project, because what they are, they're very sort of normal everyday materials like leather and timber and concrete. And the idea is that you come to PwC, you've got a busy working life, you come to this space and it's quite intuitive how you use it. It's very familiar because some of those elements of hospitality and hotel people are very used to. So it is about people being able to come to PwC to engage with these spaces in a way that's very intuitive and very normal and natural, but it's also quite inspiring and innovative.
What about the old school offices where you just walk in, you shut your door, you have your desk and your chair and away you go? Do they still exist?
Not so much anymore, really. And these 4 floors too, these are about where clients at PwC come to, so it's very separate to the places where their people work. Their people can also use these spaces to engage with clients. And we also have one of the floors that's devoted to some really interesting, more fun, relaxed spaces, like there's a Lego room, there are some treadmill desks where you can have, a walking meeting. So it's for people and clients at PwC, but it's predominantly focused on PwC's people engaging with their clients.
Was I right, Angela, in that I saw a bull statue?
Yes, you did. So one of the strategic pieces that they're working on is around food sourcing. So that bull that you saw is on one of our co-creation floors. And so the co-creation floors are spaces where people can reconfigure and they can have immersion sessions and they can, pull whiteboards around and create new types of spaces. And they can also do things like hackathons and other activities that are related to that food sourcing piece, so that's why the bull's there, where they can come up with some perhaps new strategies and new products.
Good spotting, Bridie. Good spotting. Angela, how do you explain how the architecture and the technology has blended? We see in a lot of apartment developments the use of these, tech pod spaces, etc. Are we seeing this in this particular project?
Yeah, the technology is a really key part of this. It's about enhancing the experience. So it's not something that's come in and been stuck on at the end. It's really something that's integrated across the space. So one of the technology features is the media fountain. So the media fountain looks a little bit like what you would see in a shopping centre, say some wayfinding signage or electronic signage. But what it is if, say, you bump into someone...
Is this what we're looking at now, where they're pressing on the wall?
Yeah, that's actually the digital waterfall. So what that allows you to do is you can go to that piece of technology. It's a touch screen. You can input some of your preferences or topics that you're interested in finding more about. And what will happen is that the partner responsible for those pieces will come up, some video content will come up, some written content will come up. So you can actually get a whole lot of information from these digital waterfalls that are relevant to perhaps some of the things that you're interested in finding out more about PwC with.
Oh my goodness, that's extraordinary. I love that it's practical yet pretty, because some of these things can be ugly for the sake of technology, but it looks fabulous. How have you encouraged, I guess, a sense of togetherness or community in this open space?
Yeah, well, the shape of the building is really important. So it's down at Barangaroo, it's Tower 1 at Barangaroo. So the floor plate is a lozenge shape. So that curve really lends itself to people coming together. So a lot of what we've designed in the space have been, there's a lot of curves, and you'll have seen those in the images, and there's a lot of open settings that are surrounded by curved screens. So that round table or a round setting or a curved room, that really encourages people coming together. So there's not a lot of sharp edges or sharp corners. So it's a really subtle design motif that we've used throughout the space just to promote that collaboration.
And Angela, just wanted to ask you too how the PwC staff have found it, and has there sort of been a bit of an education process too to kind of teach them or let them, you know, feel like they can explore the space and how to use it, because it is so different to that sort of traditional desk and chair?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is definitely a learning curve, but part of what we designed into the space was making it more intuitive. So there's a lot of permission to come and use these spaces in the best way that PwC's people see fit. So there's a lot of flexibility. They can move things around.
What are we looking at here, Angela, in particular? Sorry.
Oh, so just there's a lot of flexibility. So they can move, a lot of those screens that you see can be moved around.
Oh, fantastic. So are these the welcome pods? Is that the...
Yeah, just in that screen there, the welcome pods. So there's no formal reception or reception desk. The idea is that you come up to PwC and you're greeted and welcomed. And so that was a little bit based more on the way you perhaps come to some of the best hotels around the world. You feel like you're coming home, you're coming to a familiar place.
Is this just the very beginning of workspaces in the future? Is this, you know, the tip of the iceberg, so to speak?
Yeah, look, I think so completely, because no one else in Australia has done anything like this. I think PwC have been really brave in, you know, creating this new, completely new way of engaging with clients. And I really think it's just, you know, the first of a complete rethink in terms of how people interact with their customers and their clients.
Yeah, just fascinating. It looks amazing too. Angela, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Bridie.
Angela Ferguson there from Futurespace.